The sun was soft that morning. Golden light filtered through the tall trees lining the university courtyard, casting dappled shadows on the stone path. The breeze carried laughter from distant classrooms, mingled with the gentle rustle of leaves. But inside you, everything was quiet. Your footsteps were steady, but your heart was not. It hadn't been since last night, since the tears, the arguments, and your father's final words. If you really think you'll be happy with that guy, I won't stop you. You had cried so hard you thought your ribs would break, but now there was calm, not because the pain was gone, not because the path was clear, but because you had made a decision. You were ready to love him out loud without fear. You walked past the library, past the old banyan tree the seniors always gathered under, and toward the main square. A small crowd of students still stood there, murmuring in circles. You called your name in the wind and his. You see, Jungkook literally shouted at Nari in front of everyone. He said he's only ever loved Hwayeon. I think he almost cried. He looked furious. You paused, eyes wide, heart stalling. Then you walked faster. Your hands trembled slightly at your sides as you neared the west building, the one where a psychology class used to be, and that's when you saw him leaning against the wall, black hoodie loose over his shoulders, white t-shirt underneath, a silver chain catching the sun at his collar. His head was tilted slightly, staring at the ground, brows furrowed like he was thinking of the entire universe, like everything hurt and you were the only thing that could fix it. You froze, his eyes lifted and locked on you. In that moment, time didn't just slow, it stopped. The students around you blurred, the chatter faded, and suddenly you were 16 again, seeing him across the school courtyard with your lunchbox in his hand, because he stole it to tease you. You were 18, standing under the rain with him as he threw his coat over your head even though you yelled at him 2 hours earlier. You were 20, sitting at the lake during the Lantern Festival, lips almost touching, heart nearly bursting. And now you were here, older, tired, but in love, still so much in love. You took a breath and walked toward him. He stood upright, breath catching the moment you stopped in front of him. He didn't say anything at first, didn't need to. Your presence was enough. You looked up at him, and for the first time since the storm began, you smiled. You are back. He nodded, hesitant. I couldn't stay away. I know. He looked down, unsure. Did you hear what happened with Nari? You nodded gently. Everyone did. I couldn't stay silent anymore. I needed everyone to know, especially her. You bit your lip and then whispered, Thank you. He blinked. For what? For choosing me, even when I didn't choose us. His expression softened, the anger, the exhaustion, everything melting into something quieter, something broken and tender. You were scared, he said. You nodded. I still am. Me too, but still ready to face it all. You stepped closer. There was no more secrets between you. You were my parents. You whispered. Everything. I told them I love you. His breath hitched. You could see his eyes widening in surprise. You did? You nodded. A smile appeared on his face. They didn't understand at first, but my dad said, your voice cracked a little. He said he won't stop me. He trusts me. And Oma, you smiled faintly. She still thinks I'm insane, but she cried when she slapped me, so that means something. Jungkook's lips parted, eyes wide and warm. She slapped you? Looked up at him, chuckling lightly. I'm not afraid anymore. Not of your mother, not of mine, not of this entire town. He took one step closer until there was barely an inch between you. I love you. He exhaled shakily as his heart skipped a beat. You reached up, fingers brushing his cheek. And this time, I'm not going to hide it. He swallowed hard. You really mean that? You nodded. I'm done living in fear. Let them talk, let them try. I won't back down again. A soft silence wrapped around you both, then Jungkook's hand slowly rose, cupping the side of your face. His thumb brushed your cheekbone. You don't know how long I've waited to hear that. You leaned into his touch. You don't know how hard I tried not to say it. Why? You smiled through your glassy eyes because I knew that once I did, I wouldn't be able to unlove you ever again. His smile broke that warm, beautiful curve of his lips that made everything hurt and everything heal. He leaned in, lips brushing your forehead. Then don't ever try again. And in the quiet corner of the university, with the world watching from shadows, with gossip still echoing from behind walls, you wrapped your arms around Jungkook's waist and he held you like he was never going to let go, because from now on, you wouldn't love in silence, you would love loudly together. It began like any other afternoon. You had gone to the market with your mother, just the two of you, picking fresh vegetables and chatting softly about your college schedule. Things finally felt lighter, calmer, until a voice boomed through the crowd. There she is. Your heart still. You turned slow and saw Jungkook's mother, storming toward you, gold jewelry heavy on her wrists, eyes blazing like wildfire. People stopped, heads turned, the crowd parted as she approached, and then, without warning, she blurted, I see your daughter still doesn't understand shame. Her voice echoed across the street like a slap. Your mother froze beside you. You straightened, swallowing hard, but Mrs. John wasn't done. I tried to be decent, she hissed, glaring at you. I told you last time to stay away from my son. I warned you. Yet there you are again, trying to seduce him, playing the innocent role like a well-practiced drama girl. You felt every eye in the market fall on you. The fish vendor stopped mid-cut. The flower lady gasped under her breath. Your cheeks burned from humiliation, rage, disbelief, but you said nothing. You think I don't know what's going on? She went on, spitting every word, sneaking around, meeting him behind our backs. My son, my only son, has a future, a name, and you? Her eyes scanned you with contempt. You have nothing but this old rotting name your family is clinging to. You want to latch onto my son for status, don't you? You want to climb into our family like a leech. Mother finally stepped forward, her voice trembled with anger. Enough. Mrs. John raised a brow. Oh, so now you want to act like a mother? You have crossed the line, your mother snapped. My daughter is not what you're calling her. Oh, really? Madam John barked a bitter laugh. Then explain to me why, even after I announced her best friend as my future daughter-in-law, your daughter is still running after Jungkook like some cheap. Enough. Your mother's voice rose, trembling with fury. Your son is the one who doesn't leave my daughter alone. He follows her around like the moon chases the tide. And maybe, she stepped closer, maybe instead of blaming a young girl for everything, you should look at the son you raised. Gasps fluttered through the market, but Mrs. John wasn't backing down. I raised a son with pride, tradition, and status, something you people wouldn't understand. Don't talk about what we understand, your mother fired back. We may not have gold and silk, but we have dignity, which is more than I can say for the way you treat people. You think you can match my family? Your daughter is no one. She's from a broken family name, an old rivalry, a shameful past. She should be grateful I'm even speaking about her. Tears welled up in your eyes, but not from sadness, from rage, from the helplessness of being humiliated in front of an entire market like some villain in a story you never wrote. And then you heard it, footsteps, then a voice. Omma. Everything froze, the crowd turned, and so did you, Jungkook. He made his way towards you, a tousled black t-shirt clinging to his chest, just rising and falling like he sprinted here from the other side of the world. Omma, stop it now. His voice cracked. He pushed through the crowd and stepped right between you and his mother. Mrs. John gasped. Jungkook, what are you doing? Protecting the girl I love. Silence. You blinked, stunned. What? His mother whispered. He turned to her, eyes blazing with all the pain he had swallowed these past years. I've had enough of silence, of shame, of pretending. He took a step forward. I'm not a child anymore, and I won't stand here while you insult the only person who has ever made me feel truly alive. You don't know what you're saying. I've always known. Jungkook turned to face the crowd now, his voice echoing in the square. I have loved her since middle school, since she showed up in my life like a storm and beat the hell out of me for stealing her pencil. Laughter broke in the crowd. I have loved her through fights, through family rivalry, through every warning you threw at me. I've never looked at anyone else, never wanted anyone else. He looked back at his mother, soft but firm. So if you thought you could force me into a marriage I don't want just because you are holding on to some decades-old grudge, then I'm sorry, Umma, I won't be your puppet. His mother looked like she had been struck. The bracelets Nari had worn just 2 days ago, the one she handed over with pride, might as well have burned in her palms now. And if anyone here still believes love is something you can control, break or bury, he took your hand, then they have never known love at all. You stare at him, hand trembling in his, tears spilling down your cheeks. The market was completely silent. He's right. Someone from the crowd finally broke the silence, and voices came one after the other supporting your love for each other. They are in love. Why are we acting like it's a crime? And then more. Let them be. They have already suffered enough. I've seen that boy come to the temple every festival looking for her. They love each other. Mrs. John turned to the crowd, horrified. You are all siding with her? Your mother stepped up beside you, holding your other hand. No one is siding against you, Madam John. We are just done pretending your hate is love. Jungkook squeezed your hand, and for the first time in front of everyone, you didn't let go. The market eventually cleared. Jungkook's fingers were still wrapped tightly around yours as you stood at the center of the empty square where only hours ago your love had been put on trial. Your mother stood on one side, her palm warm on your back. His mother had stormed off, unable to process what just happened. Her son, her pride, had chosen you over her wishes, and not in silence in front of everyone. You didn't know what the future held, but for the first time, you didn't care because you had chosen each other. You were home helping mom prepare dinner, the silence between you now no longer strained but gentle, like you were both still processing what had happened. No yelling, no slaps, just quiet acceptance hanging in the air. I'm so happy. Now there's no fear. He took your side in front of everyone. You smiled and looked at her. I told you he's different from other Johns. She smiled and nodded. Then a knock came. You turned, wiping your hands on your apron. I'll get it. You said and walked out of the kitchen. Your mother smiled and started chopping the cabbage again. Opening the door, you were surprised to see Nari. She stood awkwardly, holding a small velvet box in both hands. Her eyes were red like she had cried herself into exhaustion, and her lips trembled when she tried to smile. Wyan, you blinked unsure. She looked down, then back up. Can I talk to you? Just for a moment. You stepped outside, closing the door behind you. Neither of you said anything at first. The silence between you was filling with all the years of friendship and all the days of confusion. Finally, she opened the box. I came to return these. The bracelets, gold, intricate, still gleaming even under the moonlight. She looked at them with hollow eyes before gently pushing them into your hands. They never belonged to me, she whispered. Your throat tightened. You should give them to her. I didn't mean for things to go this way. I didn't plan to say yes. But my mom, she's been so broken since Appa passed. I just wanted to give her some kind of peace. I wanted to believe. Maybe if I said yes, Jungkook would fall for me, or at least pretend long enough for it to feel real. Nari. But he never looked at me that way. He only ever looked at you, even when we were kids. A tear slipped down her cheek, and I hated myself for hating you because you never did anything wrong. You blinked back your own tears. Nari, I didn't mean to hurt you. She shook her head. I know, that's what hurts most. You were always kind to me, and I let jealousy convince me to be someone I'm not. Her voice cracked. I'm sorry, Vayan, for everything, for taking what I knew wasn't mine, for letting this get so ugly. You reached forward slowly and wrapped your arms around her. She gasped softly but hugged you back. You're not a bad person, Nari, you whispered. You were just hurting. You pulled away gently. She nodded, wiping her eyes. I hope someday you can forgive me. I really don't want to lose my best friend. I'm sorry for everything. You held her hands. I already did. And no, you didn't lose me. She smiled faintly, then stepped back. Take care of him. He is more fragile than he looks. You nodded. I know. And as she turned and walked away into the night, the old wounds between you two finally began to close. A few hours later, you came to the rooftop of an old empty building, your childhood hideout. You stood near the railing looking up at the stars. The air was quiet, still, and then arms wrapped around your waist from behind. Found you, Jungkook murmured. You smiled, leaning into him. This place hasn't changed, you whispered. Nope, still smells like bad paint and summer rain. You chuckled. He pulled you closer. How did you know I would be here? You asked. Because when we were 16, you said this was your thinking spot. And what if I changed? You didn't. You turned in his arms, hands resting on his chest. You really scared me today, saying all that to your mom in front of everyone. I meant every word. You paused, then smiled. You were always brave, even when we were kids. Now, I was just in love. Looked up at him, the boy who once stole your lunch and called you names, now holding you like you were his whole universe. Do you ever regret it? You asked softly. What? Falling in love with me, even though our families hate each other, even though we had to fight for every second. He stared at you, serious and soft. If I had to go through it all again, every heartbreak, every argument, every sleepless night, just to have this moment with you again. He leaned in, brushing his forehead against yours. I would do it all, every time. Your eyes welled up. I love you, Jungkook, and I love you. He whispered, with everything I have and everything I'll ever be. And under the stars, away from judgment, away from fear, he kissed you, and this time you didn't pull away. 10 years later. The car turned off the highway and onto the familiar country road, winding through rows of plum trees and old tiled rooftops. You rolled the window down, letting the breeze brush your hair. Smells like spring, you murmured. Jungkook glanced at you from the driver's seat, smiling faintly, and burnt rice crackers. This town never changes. Except now we are the ones with kids screaming in the back seat. From the rear, Mom, Taeun took my sketch pad again. I just wanted to draw the sky. You turn around, exasperated but smiling. Jiho, age 6, was furiously trying to reclaim his book while Daeon, now 4, held it with both arms like a shield. Her cheeks were puffed with defiance. "We're almost there," you said, reaching back to give Daeon a gentle look. "Share with your brother for 5 more minutes, okay?" Jungkook nodded. "They're exactly like us, which is the terrifying part." As the car approached the old neighborhood, your heart gave a quiet squeeze. The town hadn't changed. Same rust colored walls, the faint bell chimes from the old tea house, and that tiny corner convenience store where you once saw Jungkook buy your favorite candy just to accidentally leave it on your desk. It had been years. But the memories still clung to the streets like fallen blossoms. You barely stepped out before the front door burst open. Your youngest sister ran out first, followed by the others, 4 of them in total, yelling and laughing as they engulfed the kids in hugs. "She who's grown so tall. Dayon, you still like red bean ice cream? Did you bring your sketchbook?" They dragged the kids away in an instant, and your mother emerged behind them, arms folded, eyes shining. "You both look thinner." "Nice to see you too, Mom," you replied, hugging her. Jungkook grinned, already taking the luggage in. It didn't take long for the house to fill with voices again. The clinking of dishes, the stomping of tiny food on wood floors. Your sister fighting over who got bedtime story with Dayon. You sat in the kitchen watching it all. You had missed this, the warmth, the chaos, the home. The next day, when you arrived at his house with the kids, the tension in the air was unmistakable. The house was still spotless, too quiet. Jungkook's mother stood in the entryway, arms crossed, eyes unreadable. She greeted Jiho and Daeon with a stiff nod. "You are late, lunch is cold." You gave a polite bow, guiding the children inside. "They were with my family first," you said gently. She didn't respond. Still, she watched closely as Dayon grabbed her father's hand and said, "Grandma, look at my new doll." The stern mask cracked. A tiny smile ghosted over her lips. "You're not brushing her hair properly," she muttered but reached out anyway to fix it. Jungkook's father was softer now, older, quieter. He offered you a glass of barley tea and nodded, as if to say thank you for coming. It wasn't perfect, but it was peace for now. That same evening, as you stepped out of air, you found Nari standing outside the small corner bookstore, holding a paper bag filled with old romance novels and a small puzzle box for Dayon. "I heard you were in town," she said, a little awkward, a little nostalgic. You smiled gently. "I was wondering if I would see you." She handed over the puzzle box. "Tell Dayon it's from me. She will be thrilled." Nari gave a small, sheepish shrug. "How are you doing?" She smiled. "I'm married now. He's a literature teacher. Kind, quiet, nothing like Jungkook. You deserve someone who sees you," you said. She nodded, "And I'm glad it wasn't him, because watching you both now, I know that love was never something I could have forced. He never looked at anyone else the way he looked at you." You gave her a soft, genuine smile. There was no hard feelings anymore. Time had softened the sharpness between you. You and Jungkook sat where you once watched lanterns rise into the sky. The kids asleep at home with their sisters, the night air crisp and quiet. She said, "Dayon looks just like you." Jungkook said suddenly. You turn your face towards him. "Your mother?" He nodded. "That's a compliment." He added, smirking. You laughed, resting your head on his shoulder. "Do you think she'll ever fully accept me?" Jungkook paused. "She already does. She just won't admit it. She looks at you like a mountain she couldn't move." You smiled at that, and she is terrified of how much her grandchildren love this mountain. He kissed your temple. I'm not. You turned to him, brushing a hand over his collar. We have come so far, you whispered. And I would do it all again, even the fights, the sneaking out, the lectures, even your mother yelling in public, especially that. You both laughed, and in that quiet moment under stars that hadn't changed in decades, you leaned into the boy who once chased you down a school hallway, the man who now held your heart, not with desperation but with steady, time tested love. Because the town may never change, but you both had, and now hand in hand with two kids who had no idea of the wars their parents once fought to love each other. You had built a life that didn't just survive the past, it bloomed from it.